Kaya wana. Maman jenang nanak jenang ngara boja, nanak jenang wajak boja, ngara mut boja, nyanga boja. Maman jenang nanak wangin, nanak koleng, nanak koko karajan wangin, ngara boja kaya wa. Baruan nanak wot kol nanak mut, nanak kalak, nanak mara, nanak kalak. Maman jenang nanak, koko ne. Ngan kopam wangin jenak, ngan kanya, ngan kolam jenangan kopam wangin jenak kaya wa. So may the good Spirit be with us all here today. May the good Spirit guide each and every one of us through these process. May the good Spirit also take you safely around this country. It's known as Wajak area of the Nyunga area. And also may the good Spirit take each and every one of you safely back to your families, back to your homes when this is all finished. I'll do just a little song for you in this one. This one here is called Nganin Korpa Nganin Yai. It means that we share this place, we share food, we share the drinks, and we share our stories on this land. Nganin Yai, Korpan Nganin Yai, Maman Nganin Yai, Korpan Nganin Yai. Nora calling Annie, Nora calling young boy, young Annie, orange wood, Annie. Annie woven, young open, Annie, go up and yang, Annie, go, Annie, Kaya, Annie, Woman, Mamma Janang, Nakara, Marakura. On behalf of our people, my family and the people from this region, we'd like to wish you all a very safe stay, and may the good Spirit guide each and every one of you and be with you all today. Kaiwa.
Thank you, Mr. Wally, for that wonderful welcome to country, and I'd also like to pay my respect to the Whadjuk Noongar people and the traditional owners of the land on whom we meet today. I'm delighted to welcome you all to the university this morning to celebrate the official opening of the Curtin Health Innovation Research Institute Biosciences Research Precinct. We've many distinguished guests here today, and in particular I'd like to welcome the Honourable Julia Gillard, Prime Minister of Australia, Senator the Honourable Chris Evans, the Minister for Tertiary Education, Skills, Science and Research, Senator Mark Bishop, Senator for WA, Roger Cook, MLA, Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Shadow Minister for Health, and Professor Lynn Beasley, Chief Scientist of Western Australia, and extend a warm welcome to the many corporate and community supporters, and of course to our Curtin staff and students here today. So today is a very significant occasion for us all. It marks the culmination of a 2-year project to transform this building into the state-of-the-art research facility, and it marks the start of a new era in research capability for Curtin University. And I'd now like to invite Curtin's Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Professor Colin Sterling, to outline the features of the CHIRI Biosciences Research Precinct.
Good morning, Prime Minister, Minister Evans, Senator Bishop, Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor. I'm sure, looking around the room, that many of you here today, like me, grew up fascinated by the biological complexity that we see thriving around us every day. And I've been one, like many here again, who've been fortunate enough to be able to translate that fascination into a research career. In my particular case, devoted to the fundamental mechanisms underpinning the growth of cells, the fundamental unit of all life. As one learns more of the staggering complexity of the molecules, the pathways involved, and how these have evolved intricate levels of controlled choreography, all required to assemble even that single, simple cell, then it is perhaps little surprise that these cellular machines sometimes go wrong. Sadly, for most people, their first insight into those molecular complexities tends to be precisely when things have gone wrong. However, when disease does strike, many today will quickly and very gratefully realize the benefits of investments in research that have led to efficacious clinical treatments. Of course, others are not so lucky, with many infectious, degenerative and other disease conditions still yet incurable. Successful research in the health sciences, in most cases, is a combination of not just basic research. The basic research is required to identify the molecular mechanisms involved in disease, but also the applied and the clinical research that translates those basic discoveries into effective clinical interventions. And the importance of such work, well, it's obvious in respect to the alleviation of human suffering, but of course the social and economic impacts of such research are inestimable. Annual global markets in biotechnology and pharmaceuticals alone currently stand at around $300 billion and $1 trillion respectively. Of course, we used to have to qualify dollars with US, but not these days. Now, of course, universities play a phenomenally important role in delivering the research outcomes that drive most of the important developments in healthcare. And this $35 million facility provides a truly world-class research environment for such work, bringing together, as it does, leading researchers and educators from the fields of biomedical sciences, pharmacy, and public health. This concentration of over 100 researchers and research students provides enormous potential for the sharing of ideas and for interdisciplinary collaborations. The Precinct's fundamental purpose is to drive forward the search for new and improved methods of diagnosis and the discovery of medicines that will be key to fighting chronic disease in the future. There are too many current research projects to enumerate them all, but they address important areas including diabetes, cancer, tissue engineering, stem cells, inflammatory disease, malaria, drug targeting delivery, and mechanisms of drug resistance. These research projects will benefit from state-of-the-art lab facilities, featuring some 22 specialist instrumentation suites housing some of the world's most advanced research equipment. It therefore represents a real step change in research capacity here in WA. These instruments include the UltraView confocal microscope, capable of visualizing the internal workings of a single cell in real time, a biocore analyzer capable of measuring the tiny forces involved in the interactions between specific biomolecules, and the Attune flow cytometer that can detect, again in real time, cellular responses to pharmaceuticals and toxins. All these and much more besides provides researchers here at Curtin a real edge. However, while fundamental research is a major focus in this build in the new precinct, this does not stand in isolation. The precinct has been designed to provide opportunities to undertake basic research and to progress that from the bench to the bedside. In this case, into the clinical situation and then into practice. So from bench to bedside to better health. In particular, the building's model pharmacy and dispensary suite will be used by over 300 pharmacy students every semester, where their training will include delivery of contemporary pharmacy care using state-of-the-art robotic dispensing systems. We're also teaching our students new models of integrated healthcare services, particularly in areas of real opportunity in which community pharmacies are becoming more involved. So, for example, in wound management clinics, weight loss programs, asthma management, smoking cessation, and the diagnosis and management of diabetes. First floor consulting rooms will be used by nursing and public health students to offer staff and students health checks and offer assistance with health-related issues, again, such as smoking cessation and weight loss, but also conducting clinical research and associated clinical trials. This close integration of lab research and practical application allows us to demonstrate how discovery is applied to day-to-day health management and improvement of health outcomes. And this approach will particularly enhance the student learning experience here at Curtin. Following the official proceedings, I encourage you to tour the precinct and meet some of our best researchers and educators who I'm sure will be keen to share more about their exciting work. And this new CHIRI Biosciences Research Precinct provides the best possible facility to support these remarkable people in their scientific endeavours. Thank you.
I now invite Curtin's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jeanette Hackett, to speak about the significance of the CHIRI Biosciences Research Precinct to Curtin and to introduce the Prime Minister of Australia.
It's a very important day for Curtin, obviously. The establishment of the CHIRI Biosciences Research Precinct represents an unwavering commitment to extending Curtin's excellence in biosciences and related research, and also recognises that work taking place here in Perth can have global impact. The precinct brings together researchers and educators across biomedical, pharmaceutical sciences and public health into one central location, and that will create multidisciplinary research and a multidisciplinary teaching community. We're very proud of our focus on health disciplines, working together and learning from one another, an approach we've fostered in our undergraduate health sciences degrees. Curtin University educates more health professionals than any other Western Australian university, and Curtin has just become the first university in Australia to successfully introduce a common first year across all 24 health sciences degrees. That means that all these health professionals are being educated much more strongly in teams. The new precinct enhances interprofessional approach, with researchers across disciplines sharing facilities and collaborating with one another. The precinct represents a significant milestone in the evolution of biosciences and pharmaceutical research at Curtin. Some of you here today were involved in the establishment of WABRI, the Western Australian Biomedical Research Institute. And so it's paved the way for the stage we've reached today in our new precinct. We were extremely fortunate to receive funding of $13.7 million from the federal government's Better Universities Renewal Fund towards the development of the Curtin CHIRI Biomedical Research Precinct. The grant was announced in April 2009 by Julia Gillard in her previous role as Federal Education Minister, and she visited Curtin on that occasion. We're very grateful to the government for this level of support, which has allowed the vision for the precinct to become a reality. Combined with a $21 million investment from Curtin University, the precinct demonstrates a joint commitment to advancing health sciences research and clinical expertise in Australia. In line with Curtin's commitment to sustainability, we've constructed a project in the most environmentally sustainable way. And this is a recycled building that you're going to see. Instead of demolishing the building, which is one of the university's original 1960s brutalist buildings, the structure has been extensively refurbished and we'll hope you'll see a much warmer human side. Retaining the building's skeleton has enabled a larger proportion of the budget to be invested in advanced instrumentation equipment and unique teaching facilities. Eco-friendly design elements include rainwater harvesting, energy-efficient air conditioning and lighting systems. The result is an outstanding project. I'd particularly like to thank the project managers, Adams and Associates, MPS Architects, Pindan Construction, and especially the Curtin Properties team for their dedication and hard work in achieving the success of the project. While the precinct represents the university's most significant single investment in health sciences to date, it's part of a wider strategy for investment in this field. Health is one of the university's 4 key research and development areas, the others being minerals and energy, some areas of ICT and emerging science, and sustainability. And of course, all of these are critical to Western Australia and to Australia in the region. We're investing heavily in health through new facilities, focused research, and by appointing staff with particular health science expertise. In February last year, the Governor of Western Australia opened the $9 million Occupational Therapy and Social Work Laboratory, which is a unique state-of-the-art learning and research facility which will lift our capacity. Last year, we also opened the Health Sciences Graduate Research Hub at Technology Park across the road, a $2.5 million facility dedicated to health sciences postgraduate research. And then the new CHIRI Biosciences Research Precinct. This allows Western Australia to strengthen its biosciences expertise and promotes opportunities for new collaboration among industry and research institutions. The facility will help the search for new and improved methods of diagnosis and the discovery of medicines to fight chronic disease afflicting people worldwide. Already it's attracting internationally regarded staff such as Professor Philip Newsham, who's come to Curtin from the UK as head of the School of Biomedical Sciences and to further his type 2 diabetes research. We also welcome Professor Aaron Dama, whose main area of research is cancer stem cells and potential mechanisms to destroy them. It's an exciting time for health sciences at Curtin, and this highly anticipated vision becomes a reality. I now invite the Prime Minister of Australia, the Honourable Julia Gillard, to address us and formally open the wonderful CHIRI Biosciences Research Precinct. Please welcome the Prime Minister.
Can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and thank Richard for his welcome to country, and can I pay my respects to elders past and present in a spirit of reconciliation. Can I thank your Vice-Chancellor for that introduction and those words. Can I acknowledge my ministerial colleague, the Senator Chris Evans, who is your Minister, the Minister for Tertiary Education, Skills, Science and Research, as well as being a great Western Australian. Can I acknowledge Senator Mark Bishop is with us as well, and Roger Cook, the Western Australian Shadow Minister for Health. We've known each other a long time, going right back to the days of student politics, but the less said about that, the better. Can I acknowledge Dr. Jim Gill, the Chancellor of your university, Professor Claire Pollock, Acting Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the Faculty of Health Sciences, who's been doing the MC role today. Members of the Curtin University family, one and all, as well as the Chief Scientist, Lynn Beasley. I almost think she's stalking me, but I'm sure that's not true. We had the opportunity yesterday to be at Australia's first carbon neutral school. So here we are for another great event today. Friends, one and all, it's a great pleasure to be back here at Curtin University 18 months after my last visit. In fact, we were reflecting on how many visits I've made here, and many of you might think, gee, she's always here. She's been here that often, that's what would be going through your mind. But last time I was here, I was delighted to open the Engineering Pavilion. This time, it's a very great privilege to be able to open the Curtin Health Innovation Research Institute's Biosciences Research Project. It's a great day for the university and for everyone who's worked towards it, and I know doing any form of building work at a university isn't easy, brutalist architecture or not, so my sincere congratulations go to everybody who's been involved in the project. It's a great day for me too to think back to the departmental briefing I signed over 3 years ago and to see those plans actually turned into a reality. What started with your good idea and some paperwork in my Canberra office has turned into this. The Vice-Chancellor has spoken very eloquently about the vision for this facility and its role in creating a better future for all of us. And I've had the opportunity to talk to some of the scientists about the remarkable work they are doing. This world-class facility will not only educate, it will innovate, teaching the knowledge of today, but creating the knowledge of tomorrow as well. It's about the discoveries and capacities we don't even know we have in us yet. It's therefore about the future. Friends, I'm always an optimist and never more so than when I'm here in the West. Australia has a very bright future, and that's partly because we've had plenty of good fortune in our past. From our earliest days, we rode the sheep's back and dug our way through the gold rush. And in 2012, we find ourselves in a resources boom once again. I know that your university is also home to the Western Australian School of Mines, and you are participants in nurturing the resources boom. The staff and students of that school, the School of Mines, are right at the centre of the action at the moment. But the future their children inherit won't be determined just by our physical resources alone, but by our intellectual technology and human capital. It's a future where education and innovation will drive our economy, create the jobs we need, and advance the well-being of all of us. That's why we invested over $13 million in the construction of this facility, and an incredible $4.5 billion in renewing facilities in universities right around the country. It's why we've put undergraduate places on a demand-driven basis so that universities can offer the places students need, unhindered by a budgetary wall. By investing in education and innovation, we're using the resources boom to turn Australia from the lucky country into what Western Australians, I'm sure, would call the clever country. As part of that, we want to make Western Australia not just a state of big mining, but a state of big minds as well. So I'm proud to be here to associate myself and the government with the Curtin Health Innovation Research Institute and the Biosciences Research Precinct, not just because of its exciting potential to contribute to health sciences, though of course there is that wonderful potential, but because it's a shining example of where we need to go as a nation. We're doing something else too. We're anticipating today the judgment of history. Future generations will look back on us. They'll examine the good fortune that has marked the last decade and ask whether we made the most of it. Yes, they'll see how much iron ore or coal we pulled out of the ground, and they'll be proud of the people who did it, like their own parents. But they'll ask something deeper and something more searching. How many schools, universities, hospitals and research precincts did we build? How did we staff and support them? What rigour did we demand of them? How high did we aim as the Asian century began to unfold? They will know the answers then, those future generations. For now, we can only be guided by what the evidence and convictions of good sense tell us. They tell us that the nation that wins the economic race is the nation that wins the education race. You can't do one without the other. I'm determined that Australia will be the winner, and we will win because of places just like this one. We will win because of people like you. So with very high hopes for the future this building symbolises and brings closer, I declare the Curtin Biosciences Research Precinct officially open, and I wish every occupant of it every success for the future. Thank you very much.